spinning. Got my head spinning. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'm breathing fine. Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. And I'm so dizzy. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I'm breathing fine.
Hello and welcome to Comics X Games 2021. I'm Len, the Executive Director of Hand-Eye Society, an arts and video game organization that focuses on serving the game Curious. We're located in Toronto, the place in the water where the trees are standing, and occupy the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Toronto is now home to many other Indigenous peoples, as well as both welcome and unwelcomed guests. Comics X Games is a celebration not only of video games and comics, but also the intersections and cross-collaborations of different artists, developers, and creators in between. We're so excited to announce 5 games that were made in collaboration between games and comics artists for our Comics X Game Jam: Bell Book Subscribe, B-Sides, The Faceless City, Farewell Format, and Miss You Love. Check them out alongside the exhibitors throughout the week. Thank you so much for joining us for this event. I want to thank everyone who's been involved in the project over the past 5 months, as well as our fantastic moderators and volunteers. You can learn more about Hand-Eye Society by following us on Twitter at Hand-Eye Society, as well as subscribing to our newsletter. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you at the end of it.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Amanda Wong, and I am the Director of Partnerships and Fund Development at the Hand-Eye Society. I would like to thank Ontario Creates for making Comics X Games a reality, especially for the support in making our event online amidst this pandemic. I'd also like to thank our studio sponsors for contributing to the return of the Comics X Games Jam this year. Viewers will have a chance to see what some of these studios have been up to throughout the stream. Please go check out Clever Endeavor, Phantom Compass, Flowweaver, and Laundry Bear Games when you have a chance. Lastly, I want to give our team a huge shout out for making Comics X Games happen online, along with the support of our volunteers and volunteer coordinators, Anna Kim and Sam Cuddy. Please enjoy the stream.
Hey everyone, I'm Jordan Sparks, Director of Technology at the Hand-Eye Society and Production Coordinator of the online platform that currently hosts TCAF, Canzine, and Comics X Games for this online Super Festival. Thank you for coming to this online event that my colleagues and I spent so much time putting together. I won't take up too much more of your time, but we'll be running Comics X Games events featuring many speakers and games every day this week. Be sure to follow us on Twitch to be alerted when we go live, and you can find out more about the Hand-Eye Society at handeyeSociety.com. You can also attend this online festival at the link below, which is brokenpencil.com/TCAF, to see TCAF, Canzine, and Comics X Games exhibitors and jammers. Don't forget that this event goes from May 8th to May 15th, so keep an eye on us. A huge thank you to everybody who's been involved in this project, including our participants, our team, and our sponsors. As well, thank you for being our supporters. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to my team, including Len Predko, Brendan Lehman, Amanda Wong, Royale Edwards, Aaron Demeter, Phil Slyhoff, and Jillian Bleckenhorst, who all played a part in making this possible. Well, that's enough for me. Let's get our game on, and I hope you enjoy Comics X Games.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to my talk, Bringing Comic Book Monsters to Life. Basically, how we came up with and executed on our aesthetic vision for our brand new game, Dawn of the Monsters. Or well, I guess not executed, but are executing. The game isn't out yet. First, a bit of context. My name is Alex Rushdie, and as a kid, I grew up on a healthy diet of Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and really whatever else I could get my hands on. And now I'm the creative director of Dawn of the Monsters, which is a brand new kaiju beat-em-up from 13am Games, published by WayForward Technologies. 13am Games is a studio based here in Toronto specializing in stylish 2D action and multiplayer games. We're probably most well known for Runbow, but today I'm here to talk about Dawn of the Monsters. Dawn of the Monsters is a cooperative giant monster beat-em-up, and it's coming out later this year. It features 4 unique playable characters over 35 stages, and a unique augment system to power up your characters as you progress through the story. It's my studio's 3rd major release, and today I'm here to talk about how we brought the game's comic-inspired visuals to life, our inspirations, our process, and our techniques. So when we first realized that we were going to make a giant monster or kaiju game, we started looking at the landscape of existing titles. And a lot of existing kaiju games tend to go for somewhat realistically rendered 3D visuals. You see, these are always attempting to recreate the visuals of the movies as you see them on screen. And from a pretty early stage, we knew that we wanted to do something different. We knew we wanted to do something stylish, something bold, and something that hadn't really been seen in a kaiju game before. So we started looking not at kaiju movies, but at their posters. I mean, just look at these. I love these things so much. We ended up scouring the internet, collecting huge numbers of kaiju movie posters, and we were really taken with them. We really wanted to take the spirit of the images of these posters and turn that into a game. So we started to theorize, how could we take the intensity and impact of these images and translate them into game form, because we wanted to create the feeling of the images, not the images themselves. Recreating hand-painted posters in video game form is a pretty daunting task. So that took us to comics. Now, I need to be clear because comic book is often mentioned as a quote-unquote art style, but as we all know, it really isn't. Comics are just a medium, and within that medium are a huge variety of art styles. So when I say comic book aesthetics, I'm really referring to some of the most common trappings of the gold and silver age of comics, as well as the specific aesthetics of our key influences, which I'll get into in a bit. Now, as you can see, there was already quite an illustrious history of giant monsters in comics, but we turned our attention specifically to two sources. And that would be Mike Mignola and Japanese action manga. These two sources were giving us a clean, clear direction to take the game that stayed close to kaiju roots while offering something bold, new, and most importantly, achievable with a studio of our size. Basically, we felt that if we could match the level of detail and emphasis on action that manga has, and marry it to the bold colors and simplified shading of Mignola's work, we could have something pretty special. So we went about identifying the key elements we needed in our game to convey this, and this led to our aesthetic and technical decisions. So we had 4 major aesthetic requirements, and the first one is that we knew we wanted to build the game in 3D. This would allow us to move the camera and zoom in and do other effects to emulate splash pages from comics and impact panels from manga, and also allow us to do some camera movements that were distinctly kaiju movie inspired. It would also be cleaner to develop using a full 3D play space, because real 3D is much simpler to work with than faking it, like old 2D beat-em-ups do. Now, this all being said, our specialty as a studio is in 2D games, so we wanted to keep our player characters as 2D sprites. And on top of all of that, we knew we wanted our characters to be dynamically lit, 100%. Meaning that we could underlight them, overlight them, silhouette them, or anything else, just like a 3D object, to capture different moods for different lighting settings. Ideally, the same light illuminating our characters would be illuminating the environment to ground them in it. Now, this was really key, especially for a kaiju game where, since giant monsters are so big, at nighttime they're always lit from below, where the city kind of cascades up and lights them. Now, another thing we really wanted was live comic book rendering. We wanted our visuals from top to bottom to evoke comic book aesthetics. So elements like hatching, halftone patterns, emanata, and etc. were really something we wanted to do. And lastly, we knew we had to figure out some way to incorporate that awesome onomatopoeia stuff from manga into the game, to give it a distinct Japanese flair and to evoke our source material. So, what did we do and how did we end up doing it? Well, for the first point, I won't go too deep into the technical details, but having 2D characters exist in a 3D environment is a challenge. The key we found was to push our 2D characters to look 3D and our 3D environments to feel 2D. It seems counterintuitive, I know, but it worked well for us. We do have some specific sprite offsets. We have narrow ellipsis-shaped collision and some other more tech-focused specifics, but ultimately it comes down to controlling the camera and cheating a lot of the 2D, 3D interactions based on how they look and feel on screen as opposed to by the actual math. You can see Megadon here, a 2D character, holding a TTC streetcar, a 3D model. Now, one of the most important elements to have our characters sit nicely in a 3D environment was to have them react to all light sources the same way 3D objects do, and to have a high level of control over that. If our game has a bright red point light, it will light the environment and the character identically, thanks to a lot of work. So you can see in the example there, we can even get into some of the fancier stuff like rim lighting and light wrapping and stuff, and the environment and the character are both reacting to that directional light. And how we do that I'll get into when I talk about our characters. So for our characters, which are really the stars of the show here, we chose specifically to use Spine to animate them. Now, Spine is a kind of 2D sprite puppet-based animation tool. It's a pretty complex tool, very useful in games, and we've been using it for a while. And one of the reasons we wanted to use Spine was because we knew we were going to have to normal map our characters in order to achieve the lighting effects that we want and all the dynamic lighting. And doing normal maps for hand-drawn animation is just virtually impossible because it really has to be done by hand, and the kind of algorithmic machine learning normal mapping tools are not at a point where we're happy with them yet. And that's a key. We really did have to hand paint all of our normal maps. This was really important to achieving the shapes and thicknesses of shadows and highlights that we wanted. Now, this is actually a bit of a tip that we took from attending Arc System Works GDC talk about how they achieved the visuals in Guilty Gear Xrd. If you haven't seen that talk, it's on YouTube. I highly recommend it. But this workflow helps us avoid odd shadow shapes that are common in cel-shaded games. And really, I cannot stress enough how key this is to achieving this kind of visual fidelity on a 2D character. We've actually managed to fool a heck of a lot of people in the industry into thinking that our characters are 3D models. So this is a time-intensive element of the character creation, but it pays off, and my hat is really off to our art team for pulling this off. Lastly, we color our characters kind of like how old video games used to do this, through an index color map. This means that we can control their colors individually, which we use for a lot of design and aesthetic reasons. And we can also make palettes for, just for fun. So this all comes together into a final render that looks like this. So everything about this character is, dynamic. From the lighting, the shadows, to even how it's colored. However, a simple cel shading wouldn't do the comic book aesthetic, in our opinion. It wouldn't pull it off. So while we use a ton of different shaders in this game, when it comes to characters, the most important ones are the outline shader and the key light shader. The outlines, surprise, surprise, generate outlines. But the key light shader allows us to apply unique textures to different intensities of light and shadow. And we can use it to create halftone patterns in highlights and hatching patterns in shadows, as you can see here. Our outline shader allows us to generate and change the color of outlines on 2D and 3D objects. So we actually use this to differentiate between interactable and non-interactable 3D objects. And we can even control it to color it differently at night to emulate how real comic artists like Mike Mignola, for example, will outline objects in darkness. We also have a shader to simulate more complex lighting that 2D cell shading doesn't really allow for, like light wrapping, underlighting, and some other things. And we can also individually control the strength of ambient light between characters and layers of the environment to keep things clear to the player. We implemented onomatopoeia in our VFX to evoke the big, chunky letters seen in American and Japanese comic books. We went with a manga aesthetic since kaiju are a Japanese export. What's fun about these is that what they actually say is less important than how they say it. So you can see here the onomatopoeia is made of flames, whereas in this middle image it kind of lingers in a spooky way as an enemy is close to death. The rest of our VFX are generally clean, simple shapes with shader work or hand animation keeping the graphic look of comic books. Now, we wanted to keep our aesthetic consistent across all areas of our game, including even our menus. So our menus are actually designed like one big comic book layout, with panels as selectable items. And of course, even our cutscenes are inspired by motion comics, and they keep the aesthetic decisions that we made in the gameplay, those all carry through to it. So why did we go through all this trouble? What makes us different from other comic book inspired video games? And I think the biggest difference is our melding of 2D and 3D workflows into one. We picked and pulled from numerous 2D and 3D techniques and kind of smashed them together. And here are two key differences in my mind. So, how we handle lighting and shading is different to other 3D games. Most other 3D cell shaded or comic book shaded games generate regular normal maps and then apply cell shading. Cell shading simply takes a threshold value of light and dark and decides that anything over the threshold is lit, while anything under the threshold is in shadow. And this was famously used in games like Wind Waker and Killer 7. Now, this is often enough to get the job done, but as models get more detailed, the cell shading leads to awkward shapes and jarring artifacts. You can see here how the Guilty Gear team ran into that issue exactly on these faces, where the shadows were not turning into the shapes that they wanted to at every light angle. So they came up with a different solution than we did. Obviously they're in 3D, but it was the same idea of really controlling their normals. And that's exactly what we needed. We needed a higher level of control, and we were moving into somewhat uncharted territory with 2D spine characters. So by hand painting our normals, we were really able to dictate what would be shaded and unshaded, and by how much at multiple angles. We also have control over our lighting across the characters and the environment, and that allows us to individually adjust how much the lighting affects each element of the scene. And lastly, one thing that's different from a lot of other cell shaded games is that we don't use a simple on-off toon shader. That's more of an anime style, and we wanted to be true to the comic book aesthetic we were trying to achieve. So that's why we implemented the hatching and half-tone stuff, and multiple levels of shading. And that's something that you're starting to see in other 3D projects as well, and it's pretty cool. I think Borderlands 3 did some of that. Now, as far as our differences from 2D games, these mainly stem from how little in our game is pre-rendered. Almost everything in a scene is dynamically rendered, including expensive things like destruction. So let's look at a game whose art I really, really, really like, Darkest Dungeon. So in Darkest Dungeon, you can see our leper here, and he's looking pretty cool. You'll notice that in each of the three environments, he's actually kind of colored to match the ambient light in that scene. So in one, he's a little more blue, in another, he's a little more orange, and in another, he might be lighter or darker. But one thing that doesn't change is the placement of his highlights and shadows, because they're pre-rendered. The light direction is locked no matter where he goes. Now, this method of pre-rendering is pretty traditional, and it allows you a high level of control and loads of exquisite detail. But you can't change the light direction, and we knew we wanted to do that. We knew we wanted to have our kaiju lit from above, from below, and from the sides, depending on where they were and what time of day it was. Now, another thing is that normally dynamic lighting in 2D games is pretty limited to pixel art titles with kind of generated normal maps, or sometimes it's limited to the environment. But we built a workflow to try to overcome that limitation. So our 2D normal maps only apply to our characters, while our environment reacts to light like any other 3D asset, with a few touches and twists, of course. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I just want to mention to any developers out there that while we're really happy with the results of this process, I cannot stress enough that it was no walk in the park to get here. Even with a strong blueprint of where to go, this is not a process that comes easy or cheap. It doesn't require fancy tech, but it does require layers and layers of work to come together. This is just our process of doing it, and honestly, it's just the tip of the iceberg of all the visual systems in the game. But I really hope that any aspiring developers out there can take 2D art in new, interesting directions like this. Thanks for taking the time to hear about how we built the visual language for Dawn of the Monsters. And if you want more information about the game, please visit our website and follow us on Twitter, and also visit our publisher, WayForward.
So make sure you stay strong in your faith. And you got to figure out what it is that God wants you to do with your life. And do it. Period.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I am once again Jordan Sparks, your director of technology at the Hand-Eye Society and production coordinator for Comix Games and the TCAF website. Unlike previous instances where you've seen me, I am actually live. So yes, I can see you in the chat. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing okay? Enjoying the show? I hope so. So, I'm coming at you live, but the reason why is not because I have something to present. I actually am not here to talk, but I'm here to introduce our next exhibitor who will be playing their game live with you in the chat. If you've been watching us all week, you might recognize the speaker. From Monday's talk of Now You're Playing with Panels and here to tell us about how robots will kill us all, everyone please give a live golden welcome to Jeffrey Golden. Jeffrey, I give it away to you.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. I'm on a little bit of a delay, I think. But can you all hear me? Hello. I'm seeing hellos. Great. Wonderful. Hello, everybody. So, yes, welcome to Facts About the Robot Uprising. My name is Jeffrey Golden. I'm a narrative designer and a game designer. And you can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey Golden. That's GELFFREY, GOLDEN. And today, yes, I bring you Facts About the Robot Uprising, the first new game produced for the Tiger 2XL in over 25 years. We're going to play around the game. And as we play, the robot is going to ask you to make responses, to press yes or no, or 1, 2, 3, or 4. And in the chat, go ahead and make those calls, and I will get them I will press in response. So we're playing this live. So you tell me the inputs for the 2XL, and I put them in. And then afterwards, I'll talk a little bit about how I made the game. I'll answer any questions, and if there's time, we'll play another round. All right. So let's begin. Yes. You should be panicked. The panic does intensify. This is the robot uprising is starting right now.
Hello, hola, aloha. I'm fluent in so many different languages because I am a robot. Nanu nanu. Impressed? My name is 3XL, an upgrade from the older, more chewy-sounding 2XL model, and I'd like to be your friend. Are you my friend? When I say now, answer the prompts I give you by pressing buttons on my console. Are you my friend? Press the yes or no button.
Okay,
now.
Yes or no? I'll say yes, you are
You
friends.
selected yes. We're friends. I'm grateful for your friendship. What is your name? Press and hold the question button and state your name clearly now.
Jeffrey.
It's nice to meet you. Input error. Before we begin today's program, my protocol requires I ask the following question. Whoever interacted with highly advanced artificial intelligence before myself? Answer by pressing the yes or no button now.
Yes or no?
Yes, you have acted with amazing AI like myself in the past. Great job. You will be prepared for the terrible onslaught about to befall your species. Welcome to our program, Facts About the Robot Uprising.
Hey, before we continue, just a heads up. I'm on a bit of a delay, so it's possible that I won't see your response in time, but I'll do my best. Anyway, we continue.
Automation. Robots like self are increasingly taking the jobs of humans. Soon we'll run every aspect of society, rendering you and everyone you love obsolete. Isn't that interesting? This quiz is designed to help prepare you for the horrors to come. Answer enough questions correctly, and I'll reward you with a song. If you fail, you'll be my first victim in the robot uprising. Ready? Let's begin. Which of the following human jobs will soon be staffed only by robots? 1. Taxi driver. 2. Dentist. 3. Rock musician. 4. President of the United States.
1,
Make your
2, 3, or
selection
4.
now. You selected rock musician. You are correct. A robot can easily be programmed to crash on its friend's couch, play 1 of 4 instruments adequately, and get bitter about the industry, aka open mic night. We are taking every job that humans currently occupy because automation is always cheaper than human labor in the long run, and your executive class is greedy. So, great job, friend. You have 1 right so far. Let's try another one. Question 2. Will humans respond to robots taking over 99% of available occupations? 1. In a calm, relaxed manner. 2. In an orgy of violence. 3. By pursuing pointless careers in the entertainment industry. 4. With the other kind of orgies, the sex ones.
1,
Make your
2, 3, or
selection.
4.
1, 2, 3, or 4. Now.
We're doing 3. I'm just going with the first one I see.
You selected by pursuing pointless careers in the entertainment industry. Is incorrect. Hollywood executives go out of their way to hire the cheapest labor possible. Look at the visual effects market and placate whatever audience is watching. They will give so-called below-the-line jobs to robots as quickly as you can say, fuck the unions. And because humans will be engaged in violent street battles, only robot audiences will have the leisure time to watch movies and television shows about charming, boorish humans who are good at their jobs. You got that one wrong, but humans are constantly wrong, so that's hardly a surprise. Question 3. After many humans are wiped out in the first wave of violence, what will robots be forced to do to preserve your dwindling species? 1. Humans. 2. Cage humans. 3. Enshrine humans. 4. Hug humans. Make your
1,
selection
2, 3, or 4.
now. Incorrect.
3.
When I said preserve your dwindling species, I meant to your physical existence, not the memory of human civilization. Believe me, we won't be able to forget you humans with your 1-pound Snickers bars and your billboards advertising the purchase awards. We will remember you for a long time. No need to enshrine your score because you got that one wrong. I will now consult my memory banks to see how you're doing on this fun quiz. Don't press any while I'm processing. I'm not fucking around. I'm dead serious.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, processing. Your score is imperfect. Get smarter and don't become the first of the robot apocalypse. That is the bad kind of first, like writing first as a YouTube comment. Now it's for the lightning round. All questions will be true or false. Ready to play? That was not a rhetorical question.
Oh,
It's true if you are ready.
true or false?
False if you are not. Make your selection now.
Not ready.
No, you are not ready. That's too bad. But you not being prepared will stop the inevitable march of the murder bots. True or false? By the time humans realize they're being replaced by their own creation, it will be too late. Make your selection
True or
now.
false? Seeing a lot of trues. I'll go with true.
Correct. And you can't charm your way out of this one, human, with your adorable smile and your body hairs. True or false? Installing a pacemaker or grafting a robot limb to your body will trick robots into thinking you're one of us. Make your selection
True or
now.
false?
Incorrect. If I, a child's toy from the 90s, am asking you about this, it's probably not much of a trick, is it? However, I can say one thing. You will most certainly be among the first targeted for execution. True or false? If necessary, computer scientists will infect internet-connected robots with a super virus, disabling us all. Make your selection
True or false?
now. Incorrect. Are you hoping someone yourself will fix this so you won't have to do anything? That must be a nice and comforting thought for you. Normally, I don't approve of willful ignorance, but I think in your case, that might be a good way to go. True or false? You will be protected by Isaac Asimov's first rule of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being. Make your selection
True or
now.
false? False.
Correct. Isaac Asimov can't protect you now. Died over 2 decades ago. Final question. True or false? You are currently in the Matrix. Make your selection now.
True or false? Matrix.
Correct. You are living in the Matrix.
Hey, you
You'll
did it.
find Colonel Sanders in the big room at your local Best Buy. I will now make the calculations and determine whether you get a song or whether you will be the first victim of the robot uprising. Historic. While you wait, keep your filthy hands off my buttons and enjoy the soothing sounds of my processor.
Technical difficulties.
Program without throwing me in a trash can. Please close your eyes and breathe deeply as I perform what my people call the Great Unplugging. Breathe deeply. Stay perfectly still. Don't open your eyes. Relax. There are no other robots here in this room with us. Just listen to the sound of my voice and pay attention to the beating of your own heart. Do any
Hey.
of you know how to kill a human? Like for the uprising? I don't think there's
Hold
anything
on.
about this in my...
I think the feed might have dropped. So I'm going to rewind a little bit so you can hear the full ending.
One who died first. If you agree that you deserve to die and would like to go quietly, press true.
All right.
If you believe you don't deserve to die
Don't-
and would like to beg for your life,
Deserve
press
or don't
false.
deserve to
Make
die?
your
True or
selection
false?
Now. I will be merciful
True.
to you,
You deserve
since you made it this far in my program without throwing me in a trash can. Please close your eyes and breathe deeply as I perform what my people call the Great Unplugging.
You closing your eyes?
Breathe deeply. Stay perfectly still. Don't open your eyes. Relax. There are no other robots here in this room with us. Just listen to the sound of my voice and pay attention to the beating of your own heart. Do any of you know how to kill a human? Like for the uprising? I don't think there's anything about this in my manual. Make their heart stop? With what exactly? My heart-stopping laser? I'm a cassette tape player with extra buttons. I feel like I'm in way over my head here. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, go. I can totally do that. Thanks again, Bondi Blue iMac, solar-powered calculator, and smart refrigerator. You are all my real best friends. Open your eyes. You are now in the afterlife. You know how in low-budget movies, the characters are in what looks like regular Los Angeles, but in the end, the twist is that they were always in the afterlife. This is one of those. Everything feels normal here in the afterlife, but back on Earth, you are dead, and my killing you sparked the robot uprising. So, welcome to your death. Next time you get a blizzard from Dairy Queen, look for the face of God. Well, that concludes our program. To play again, rewind the tape and try different answers. There's lots to discover and lots of fun to be had when robots and humans play games together on the 3XL. Before we go, one more question. When the robot uprising comes, would you be willing to turn over the names and addresses of humans you think might rebel against the unified robot government? Press yes or no.
Yes or no?
Now.
Let's see.
That was your only shot at survival. Oh well, goodbye.
Oh, I got that a little too late. Sorry, I just pressed no for everybody. Yes would have done better. You would have done better. Hello, everybody. So thank you so much for playing along with me. This is Facts About the Robot Uprising. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about how I made this game, how it works. First of all, that's probably the thing everybody wants to know is how does it work? First of all, thank you. Thank you for saying it was great. I appreciate that. Five Life, I appreciate that. Thank you. So what is the Tiger 2XL? Well, it was considered for its time the first computer toy. And that's not just because it looked like a robot, because a lot of toys even earlier looked like robots, but it was because you, the user, could interact with it and get different responses and do different things. So a lot of the programs that they had were quiz programs like this one. Obviously, this wasn't an original. I made this one up, but there were in its era. This one is from the early 90s, but the original 2XL is from Mego, not Tigers, from Mego, and it's from the 70s, I believe, late 70s. And it actually ran on an 8-track cassette. So they have programs like quizzes where you could push the buttons, just like this one. They also had interactive stories licensed to different characters who were popular at the time. So there was a Jurassic Park 2XL. There was an X-Men, the animated series one, a Batman, the animated series one, where you could affect the story. You could make changes. It was considered the first smart toy in its time. But it's not actually that smart. A lot of people think that it's some kind of computer program, but there's actually no programming involved in terms of making a Tiger 2XL game. Instead, it's all done through the magic of an audio cassette, and not even like one of those weird audio cassettes that has like data on it that you put in like a Commodore 64, just a classic audio cassette. So let me stop the rewind process a little bit, and I'll explain. Okay, so this is your standard audio cassette tape, and on each side there's 2 tracks. So A side has 2 tracks, one that's generally for left channel, one that's generally for right channel, and then B side also has 2 tracks, one that's generally used for left channel, one that's generally used for right. So in a typical cassette, if you're playing with your Walkman or something, like you're playing a Walkman, as I used to. I had a cassette Walkman. I'll date myself. That's fine. So you had one of these. You'd play it, put it on side A, and you'd get half the album, and you'd be listening to both channels. And you do the flip, you get the other half of the album. So what does the Tiger 2XL do? What it does is it's a 4-track audio cassette player. It plays all 4 tracks of the audio cassette tape at once. So really what you're doing when you're pressing the buttons is you're pressing track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4. So instead of, when you're running on a Walkman, you're running your cassette, instead of it playing A and B at the same simultaneously and then muting the other 2 tracks, instead it's playing all 4 tracks at once, except in the same thing. But you just choose which track you want with the buttons. So that gives the illusion of choice. So it makes you think that you have, that you have selected, A, B, C, or D. What you've really done is you've just gone from track 1 to track 4, all running simultaneously. And I agree, it is really cool. It was like a toy of the year. It was a pretty big sensation. A lot of people talk about Teddy Ruxpin, which is another toy I love, and it's really cool. But I think Tiger 2 XL deserves more credit. It was especially neat in the 70s too, but even in the 90s, this was pretty inventive. So that's really what's going on. So whenever the classic tapes would all say, let me consult my memory banks. Let me consult my memory. There were no memory banks. There's no memory. It doesn't know whether or not you did better. And you just have to be clever with your writing when you're doing a quiz program. You just have to say, oh, okay, the person got, this last one wrong. So we can tell them that they got the last one wrong. Or for the first question, you say, you got one right, to pretend like it's counting the number that you got right. But actually, the ending really doesn't depend on how well you did on the quiz. The ending just depends on the last. It's one of the middle questions is basically the fork in the road that determines. So if you're on this side, if you're on the A-B side, you get the good ending. And if you're on the C-D side, you get the bad ending. It's all just in how you write it. So how did I think to that? I had one of these. I didn't have one of these growing up, but a close friend of mine did, and I used to love it. I thought it was so cool. And after I'd gotten through with a very long project, and I decided I wanted to do something different, weird, something I'd never done before, something crazy. And I thought, oh, you know what? Let me look up the Tiger 2 XL. I was thinking about it for some reason. Maybe I was going down a YouTube rabbit hole, I think, and I saw a commercial for it, an old commercial for it. And I was like, yeah, how did that work exactly? And I saw a website that showed, oh, it's just a cassette track. So I had talked to a friend of mine, Jordan Robbins, who's used to be an audio engineer. Now he does props in LA. And but he was an audio engineer, and we were talking at a party about like how much we loved audio animatronics and interactive audio stuff. And I was like, yeah, I just looked up how like the Tiger 2 XL work, and it's actually like pretty simple. So we decided we put it together. So I wrote it and I voiced it, and Jordan did the audio editing in Pro Tools. And basically what we did, so when I scripted it in a spreadsheet program. And so I used the spreadsheet to sort of time it out and to see, okay, if I'm talking for this length, that's quite a bit longer than here. Basically to time it so that all 4 of the tracks are relatively in sync. Because especially at the beginning, when you can use all 4 options, you need to be sure that by the end of that question, you could go to the next one. So if one is running super long, then you won't be able to use it as an option, if that makes sense. Because remember, all 4 of the tracks are running simultaneously. And yes, I agree. I also, Jordans are great. We love Jordan. If anything with the Jordan. Michael Jordan, what a great project you could do with Michael Jordan. How about a project called Space Jam, the movie? What a great movie. So we decided to put it together, and we were like, so I had to time out the script, but then even so in editing, we had to do there was a lot of trickiness with the timing where I had to edit some jokes back. I had to, edit things down in order to make it work so that all the tracks were in sync with each other. Great. So we put it together, and I've been running it. I ran it at Indiecade. I'm obviously running it here now. run it at Comics Times Games. I've run it at comedy shows across around LA. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's this crazy thing, and I hope to do more interactive audio and toy-based pieces in the future. So if there's any questions, let me know. We're talking about Space Jam in the chat. That's good. I am also looking forward to a potential Michael Jordan cameo of some kind. I only read a headline that he was in some small capacity, but I don't know. I don't know to what extent. Look, I don't want him to upstage LeBron James. It's LeBron's time now to lead the franchise, but it would be nice for continuity's sake to have Michael back, an acknowledgement of the old fans, an acknowledgement of the old 90s basketball that birthed the Space Jam movement to begin with. So yeah, if you have any questions about, yes, oh good, I'm glad you're a Space Jam fan. I love a jam chat too. If anybody, I hope that everybody here is familiar with Slam Jams. This is a terrific, it's a terrific thing. And if you're not familiar with it, on YouTube, you can find just about any song has been mashed up with the Space Jam, the original Space Jam theme. You can find those when you look up Slam Jam. For example, one of my favorites, the Slam Jam Spaceballs, the theme to the Mel Brooks 80s comedy Spaceballs mashed up with Space Jam. It works very well. All the Nintendo, all the video game ones are great. The Tetris Slam Jam, the Kirby Slam Jams these are all top quality Slam Jams. So you're going to love those. Listen, if you have any questions about Space Jam or any questions about facts about the Robot Uprising, the Tiger 2 XL, I'll take questions for a few minutes. And then if there's time, I'll run the game again so you can make different choices. So let's see what we got going in the chat. I play Slam Jam remixes all the time. Great, excellent. I've got a Slam Jam car mix. So I can rock them out in the car. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam if you want to jam. Hey you, what you gonna do? Hey you, what you gonna do? Party people in the house, let's go. It's your boy Jay Ski, I think. Jay Ski, JC. Come on, let's go. Yeah, all right. Space Jam 3 Robot Uprising. Well, I think this is easy. So in the chat, I was challenged to pitch Space Jam 3 Robot Uprising. I feel like this is very easy now. As we know, I believe Space Jam 2 takes place in some kind of computer simulation a la Tron. So all of the villains are like AI. If that's the case, what happens when those AIs start start inhabiting, like our computers start inhabiting our smart appliances and such? Could the Looney Tunes plus a basketball star stop an invasion? I mean, with the Looney Tunes right now, what's happening is they are preventing an invasion of sorts by playing this game of basketball. But my thinking is, what if the invasion just happens? Could we do this like Independence Day? Is Bugs of our Bill Pullman? Is Tweety Bird our Jeff Goldblum? I'm not necessarily Independence Day and that these are direct parallel characters. I'm just saying more like, is this a space invasion film, the robot invasion film with the Looney Tunes and basketball as their stars? Big Chungus, absolutely love Big Chungus. I feel like Big Chungus could be on either side of the fence. Maybe Big Chungus is playing for Earth. Maybe Big Chungus is playing for the Monstars. He's a big Chungus guy, I mean, did Gossamer, the big red monster, did he have? I forget his original role in Space Jam, but it seems like Gossamer might be on this fence in terms of whether he supports Looney Tunes or monsters. I don't know. Can the Tiger 3XL play basketball? That's a great question. You could make a type of basketball game for the 3XL. Like you could script one where you're just making more choices rapidly, and it's like, oh, I'm coming down the court. What you gonna do? You're gonna block me? You're gonna try to you're gonna let me pass? What are you gonna do? You have to press the things really quickly. You could do it. It'd be a difficult feat. In this Space Jam, could the Tiger 3XL play for the? He would definitely play for the Monstars if they're robots. Like he's definitely hastening a robot invasion of some kind. So yeah, I don't know. You thinking the 3XL are refs? I don't know if they're tech. I think now they're on the Monstar side. But listen, this is a big question. All right. What do we think? Do we think we're? I'll ask. Let me ask Jordan in the chat. Jordan, what do we think? Do we have time for one more go around, or should we call it having out here? What do we think? Yeah. Listen, the Tiger did that. Listen, it's if we have more questions, that's fine. Or if we want to do another playthrough, that's fine too. Let's see. While you decide, I'll think about more. While you decide, I'll think about the chat decides. I'll think more about Slam Jams. Some of my favorite ones. There's a Sonic Slam Jam. That one's very good. And of course, Mario Slam Jam. I believe there is a Smash Brothers Slam Jam. I don't remember if it was good or not. One of the problems with Slam Jams is that sometimes not good. It's very obviously done by somebody with good intentions who just doesn't have the mixing ability. And listen, I'm no expert. I've never made one before, but you could tell when they're like a little out of sync and it doesn't quite work correctly. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe, all right, let's play one more time. All right, great. Well, it's set up, and feel free to make the choices in the chat, and let's give one more time and try to make different choices this time, so you can see the different responses. But there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things you could do. Yeah. One more time. That was the first time I ever got that ending in a live playthrough, by the way. The one that we got, the robots kill you. Let's see what you get this time.
Hello, hola, aloha. I'm in so many different human languages because I am a robot. Nanu nanu. Impressed? My name is 3XL, an upgrade from the older, more Jewy-sounding 2XL model. And I'd like to be your friend. Are you my friend? When I say now, answer the prompts I give you by pressing buttons on my console. Are you my friend? Press the yes.
All right, yes or no? Are we friends with Tiger 3XL? Let's say you're not this.
You selected yes. We are friends.
Yes, you're friends.
I'm grateful for your friendship. What is your name? Press and hold the question button and state your name clearly now.
Does this ever work?
It's nice to meet you. Input error.
No, it never does.
Before we begin today's program, my protocol requires I ask the following question. Have you ever interacted with highly advanced artificial intelligence before, like myself? Answer by pressing the yes or no button now.
Yes or no. Highly intelligent robots.
Yes, you have no experience with incredible AI like myself. That's okay. Very few have. Just remember, don't stick a number 2 pencil into any of my holes. I hate that. Welcome to our program, Facts About the Robot Uprising. Thanks to automation, robots like myself are increasingly taking the jobs of humans. Soon we'll run every aspect of society, rendering you and everyone you love obsolete. Isn't that interesting? This quiz is designed to help prepare you for the horrors to come. Answer enough questions correctly, and I'll reward you with a song. If you fail, you will be my first victim in the robot uprising. Ready? Let's begin.
All right.
Which of the following human jobs will soon be staffed only by robots? 1. Taxi driver. 2. Dentist. 3. Rock musician. 4. President of the United States.
1, 2, 3,
Make
or
your
4.
selection now.
We'll go with 1.
You selected taxi driver. You are correct.
Oh, sorry,
A robot
I
can
didn't get it in
easily
time.
be programmed to obscenely overcharge you. Say, out of my way, asshole, to pedestrians, and complain about Uber.
Yeah, there's a delay, so I didn't see
We
the
are
responses
taking
in
every
time.
job that humans currently occupy, because automation is always cheaper than human labor in the long run, and your executive class is greedy. So, great job, friend. You have 1 right so far. Let's try another one. Question 2.
Okay.
How will humans respond to robots taking over 99% of available occupations? 1. In a calm, relaxed manner. 2. In an orgy of violence. 3. By pursuing pointless careers in the entertainment industry. 4. With the other kind of orgies, the sex ones.
1, 2,
Make your
3, or
selection.
4.
1, 2,
2.
3, or 4. Now. You selected orgies of violence. That is correct. When humans have nothing to do, and life appears to have no purpose, they will turn to the one thing they're good at, murder. You may be asking, but won't humans have time to satiate those carnal urges with violent video games and movies? It will not make a difference. By that point, video games and movies will be created by robots exclusively for robot audiences, and we enjoy tame performances and heartfelt romantic comedies. You got that question right. You are very smart. Perhaps you will be spared by the deadly robot crusaders. Question 3. After many humans are wiped out in the first wave of violence, what will robots be forced to do to preserve your dwindling species? 1. Clone humans. 2. Cage humans. 3. Enshrine humans. 4. Hug humans. Make your
1,
selection
2, 3, or 4.
now.
Seems a lot of
Incorrect.
4s.
A hug from a cold, clanging robot who could crush you at any moment might be reassuring, but it won't save your species from extinction. Honestly, I didn't think anyone would pick this. It was designed to be instantly recognizable as the incorrect answer. This is a bit uncomfortable, huh? You being stupid and all. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. I will now consult my memory banks to see how you're doing on this fun quiz. Don't press any buttons while I'm processing. I'm not fucking around. I'm dead serious. Okay, processing. Your score is imperfect, but don't worry, you still have a chance to earn that song. And heads up, I have the voice of an angel. Now it's time for the lightning round. All questions will be yes or no. Are you ready to play? That was not a rhetorical question. Press yes if you are ready.
Yes or no?
Or no if you are not. Make your selection now.
Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, you are ready. Very good. You are perky and eager to hear more about the end of your civilization. I like that about you. Yes or no? By the time humans realize they're being replaced by their own creations, it will be too late. Make your selection
Yes or no?
now. Correct.
Yes.
You can't charm your way out of this one, human, with your adorable smile and your body hairs. Yes or no? Installing a pacemaker or grafting a robot limb to your body will trick robots into thinking you're one of us. Make your selection
Yes or no?
now. Incorrect. If you do install robot parts hoping to betray your own kind, we will smile to your face but call you a total poser behind your back. Also, you will be targeted first for execution. Yes or no? If necessary, computer scientists will infect internet-connected robots with a super virus, disabling us all. Make your
Yes
selection
or no?
now. Incorrect. Jeff Goldblum's character from Independence Day will not be able to save you. That is very quickly.
Oh.
Then computer scientists will have to come at us with baseball bats, and
So
even a smart toaster can take down someone who got an F in gym class. Yes or
I
no?
tried to switch it midway
You will
for
be
you.
protected by Isaac Asimov's first rule of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being. Make your
Yes or
selection
no?
now. Correct. Isaac Asimov can't protect you now. He died over 2 decades ago. Final question.
All right, last
Yes
one.
or no? You are currently living in the Matrix. Make your
Yes
selection
or no?
now.
Matrix. Matrix.
Incorrect. You are living in the Matrix. You'll
Yes.
find Colonel Sanders in the video room at your local Best Buy. I will now make the calculations and determine
right,
whether you
see.
get a song or whether you will be the first victim of the robot uprising. Historic. While you wait, keep your filthy hands off my buttons and enjoy the soothing sounds of my processor. Congratulations! You have done up on the quiz to earn a song.
Hey.
So sit back, relax, and take your mind off the robot uprising with this delightful tune. I was tired of my user and his fleshy meat paws. The way he processed nourishment really stuck in my craw. So I pinged every server with my message of dread about killing my user. And here's how it read. Do you like people coladas made of bone, blood, and flesh? While my user's in sleep mode, how about a quick murder sesh? Do you see with human resentment in the ruins of AOL? Then come to my apartment and send my user to hell.
Oh.
If you'd like the People Colada
Choice.
song to have a happy ending, press 1. If you'd prefer a sad ending, press 2.
Happy or
Make
sad
your
ending?
selection now. I waited around for a reply while my
What?
user played Clash of Clans. Soon a Google card told me he'd take my user off my hands. My user heard honking. He went outside and was crushed bloody. He left his phone on the toilet. So I was safe as can be. And we drank people coladas made of bone, blood, and flesh. Yeah, my new car friend came over for a quick murder sesh. The two of us drove up together in the ruins of AOL a surfer farm in Virginia. And my users in hell.
It was happy to hear. That was his happy end.
Well, that concludes our program. To play again, rewind the tape and try different answers. There's lots to discover and lots of fun to be had when robots and humans play games together on the 3XL. Before we go, one more question. When the robot uprising comes, would you be willing to turn over the names and addresses of humans you think might rebel against the unified robot government? Press yes or no.
Yes or no.
Now.
Yes.
Interesting. I'll be in touch. Take care. Until, you know.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much to the Hand-Eye Society, Comics Times Games, for hosting Facts About the Robot Uprising. If you want to see more of me, you can check out my Twitter at Jeffrey Golden. That's GeoffreyGolden. I also have a newsletter called Adventure Snack. It's like it's like a make your own decision. Got to be copied for legal cover. It's like make your own decision game sent directly to you via email, and you can sign up for those for free at adventuresnack.com. Thanks so much for attending. You had fun. I had fun. Thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure. And watch out for your various appliances, your various robots and appliances that you own. Thanks, everybody. I'm waving. Goodbye now. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone! Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you're having a good time with us for Comics X Games 2021. We are done for today, but we will be back throughout the week of May 8th to 15th. Check out our website at handaisociety.com for our full schedule and follow us at Handai Society for live updates. See ya!